Tuseno has been making waves the past few years, but the Swedish brand has been around for just about a decade now, and the Blackwater and Shellback is what really caught my eye. The Shellback is in its second iteration. This is the Tuseno Shellback V2, a slightly refined and upgraded version of the original, which was a huge hit for the brand. A lot of the updates are minor, but overall, this is a more refined watch, and this time around, there are some new colors and variations. I'll talk all about this in this video, but you're looking at a 40mm stainless steel case with an SW200 movement, sapphire crystal and ceramic bezel, and quite a striking flat link bracelet. This V2 is currently on its second pre-order, as the first sold out completely with the price of $649, $50 off the retail price. Watches are set to ship at the end of 2024. This is Don, and I'm going to talk all about the Shellback in this video, so let's get to it. First things first, please keep in mind throughout this video, this is a pre-production piece, and unfortunately it looks like this one was through the ringer of sorts before it arrived to me, so you'll see a lot of scrape and scuff marks on the bracelet and lugs. The bezel seems to be a little misaligned, and there's various scratches and such elsewhere, like on the case back. With that out of the way, let's give an overview of this Shellback and the Tuseno brand. They are out of Sweden. They have been in business almost 10 years, and this is the second go around for the Shellback. I never had the first one in hand, but looking at the original, it's not a major upgrade, but a slight refinement. Things like an improved bracelet, a new clasp, some dial refinements, and the removal of the loom pip from the bezel triangle. I'll put all the specs here on screen, but design-wise, this is an interesting piece. It's a little Aura 65, a little Tudor, a little Seiko, and a lot of Tuseno. I say that because while I can see certain inspirations in the design, this is their own design. The shape of the case isn't carbon copied from any brand or model. The sandwich dial is done by many, but they have a unique layout here. And of course, we have that kind of odd hour hand. And on this one, a painted dial with a vertical brushing that catches the light way more than I thought it would. Unfortunately, one of the disadvantages with getting a pre-production piece that really has been passed around and not exactly well taken care of is I have to imagine what this watch will be like and not what it is. The bezel on this one has a slight wobble to it and it looks to be slightly misaligned, and overall I'm not in love with the action on it, but I can't imagine this will be on the production models, and with how popular the first Shellback was, how many raved about it, that it had this kind of bezel going on. As far as the crown on this model, it feels pretty good. No crown guards here and a decently sized crown for 40mm. No issues with grip or function. The case is really beautiful. It appears thicker than it is, and I love the finishing. The watch is mostly brushed, but the high polished chamfers on the case really make it stand out, and I just love how they go up high and underneath the bezel, and they follow the curve of the case. And yes, this case has a nice curved profile, which not only looks great, but hugs the wrist very well. More on that with the fit of this piece shortly. The Shellback V2 offers 3 dial choices, and they aren't just color differences. If you go blue, you get this painted dial with the vertical brushing. If you go black, you get a polished enamel dial, and if you go white, you get a semi-matte dial. The white dial is also the only other to get a steel bezel insert. Black and blue get a ceramic bezel insert. One other difference I noticed on the white dial, as well as an LE all DLC black version that is already sold out, they got the little star logo above the model name, the guiding light as Tuseno calls it. I like this little extra detail on the dial, and I'm not sure if it will make it to the blue and black dial come production, but as of now, it's only available with the white. But we aren't done talking about this dial yet. There is a lot to discuss here. Let's start with that wonky hour hand, but I call it wonky not as a slight, but it is unconventional. I can't quite say what it reminds me of right now. Maybe I'll think of it when I'm doing the written article, but I do like it, and it's got that circle for a reason, as it perfectly lines up with the Shellback lettering on the dial. Not very useful, but it's a nice quirky touch. This is a sandwich dial, as you can see, and at first I thought the indices had applied metal outlines, but they are in fact a frosted silver paint, which still does look good, and the paint catches the light nicely. Speaking of catching the light, I can't imagine either of the other dials looking this cool. In my opinion, the blue dial is the way to go for a few reasons. One is the vertical brushing on the dial. It's subtle and you don't always see it, but it's there and I love the way it looks. Two, more than any other sunburst dial or reflective dial, this paint, or just the way it works with the sapphire crystal, it really changes the color of this dial. In certain light or angles, it's more of a muted, darker blue, but catch the right light and it's a gorgeous, radiant cobalt blue color. Now, you can see the bezel insert doesn't exactly match up to the cobalt blue color, but like I said, this dial is a chameleon, so it would really be hard to match that with a ceramic bezel insert, and I think Tuseno went with a darker insert to play it safe. One other little detail, and it's not groundbreaking, I just like how the date cutout is more of a square, separating it from the round dial markers, and it just makes the date immediately stand out. Tuseno did have no date options, but those look to be all sold out. This model uses the SW200, which by the way, even though this is a standard grade SW200, it's nice to see one at this price point, as these days many brands are of course using the Miyota 9000 series at this price, but this Tuseno is Swiss made, so you need a Swiss movement of course. Now, one thing I'm not positive on, but if they are going with the SW200 series, if you did order a no date, I'm guessing it will have the phantom date wheel. I could be wrong though, and that they did do a proper date delete. Let's check out the lume here quickly before we get to the bracelet and the fit on the wrist. The hands glow very strongly, as does the bezel insert, but I'm a little let down by the actual dial markers. Seeing how this is a sandwich dial, I really expected the lume on them to blow me away, and as you can see on screen, they are much dimmer than everything else that is lit up. I can only hope this is because it's a pre-production and all the lume will glow at the same intensity on the production models. The bracelet has actually kinked up on me quite a few times. Now, this is a flat link bracelet. It has a great look, but it was kind of surprising considering these are the type of links that can actually stack up on each other. And, again, this is a pre-prototype watch or pre-production watch, I should say. And I'm hoping this will be rectified and that this isn't the normal for this type of bracelet. Other than that, though, when it didn't kink, it was a very comfortable bracelet to wear, and it's got the same style clasp that many micros are using these days, a fancy push button with the on-the-fly adjustment. It's useful and it looks great, so I really can't complain. Sizing is done with one-piece screws and it's very easy to size, as this piece came sized for someone with an extremely small wrist. I had to put all the links back in but one that came with it, so 4 links I had to put back in for my 7.5 inch or 19.05 centimeter wrist. The lugs and case hug the wrist very well, and the end links are female, so the 47mm lug to lug stays 47 millimeters. And if you prefer a strap, it does come with a Tropic rubber for free as part of the pre-order incentive, and both the bracelet and the strap have quick release bars. I do wish I got a fresh, never touched piece for review or one that was a little better put together, but hey, this is not my first time reviewing a pre-production piece, and I could tell why these watches have been so popular. In a world with a lot of micros looking the same, the Shellback does stand out with this case design, the funky hour hand, this gorgeous vertical pattern on the dial for the blue dial, and all of it comes in a relatively low price compared to a lot of the competition. Now, these won't be ready to the end of the year as it says on their website, so be prepared to wait a while. And while the refinements from V1 to V2 are subtle, this is a damn good looking piece, a Swiss made piece for $650, which isn't bad at all. For more on this piece, head over to watchreport.com where I will have a written article and you can see all of my photos as well. And of course, you can check out the Tuseno website, which I have linked below. Make sure to follow both Watch Report and Tuseno on social media. We are most active on Instagram lately. Be sure to hit that like button, comment down below, and make sure you are subscribed. This is Don Evans from Watch Report. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.